Test. Good evening, everyone. Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending tonight's West Valley School District Board meeting. I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's 7 p.m. on Tuesday, September 27th, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Dr. Finch, I believe we have one change to the agenda.
Yes, we actually have two. We'll need to table and reschedule the program presentation regarding the highly capable program. Our presenter has had a family emergency and has requested to reschedule. In addition, we'd like to add travel request number 4. That will be for Nick Hartman to attend the Innovative School Summit in San Antonio, November 30th to December 4th, funded by High Poverty Learning Assistance Program funds. In addition, there was a voucher that had a reduced registration for that conference. This was actually a conference that Nick had been approved to attend prior to COVID, and then it had to be rescheduled due to COVID. So that would be travel request number 4.
All right, thank you, Dr. Finch. Moving on to communications, response to public comment.
Okay, I have a response to some questions that we had at the last board meeting. Also, just like to share with our community members, if you have questions, feel free to send those to me via email or even give me a call. There's many people in our audience that have asked questions via email with me, and I'm working on getting information for them. So feel free. You don't need to wait for a board meeting to ask a question. Feel free to email me, and I'll work on answering those questions for you. Response to some questions that we had from September 13th. First one was regarding the funding for school lunch programs. So funding from school lunch programs comes from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, not from the U.S. Department of Education. The federal government does not require school districts to teach any curriculum as a condition for students to receive assistance for free and reduced meals. In addition, the West Valley School District does not teach critical race theory as part of the scope and sequence for the curriculum in the district. Second question and comments was regarding lunch at the middle school building. So the lunch line at the middle school building does tend to go slowly at the beginning of the school year, as our 6th grade students who are new to the school learn the system. At the beginning of the school year, our 6th grade students often forget their ID card, which contains their barcode. When this happens, the server is required to help the students look up their ID number, which slows down the line. As students become familiar with the system, they remember their ID card or they memorize their ID number. This helps the lunch line to move much faster. Our staff will continue to monitor the progress of the lunch line at the middle school with the goal that students have enough time to eat their lunch during their lunch break. And that concludes the response to public comment.
All right, thank you, Dr. Finch. We'll move on to item 5B, which is selection of instructional materials committees, 2 members. I believe I was given an envelope.
Oh, here we go. All right, so we had a call for members for the Instructional Materials Committee. I received some help from our community regarding the information about terms of office. And so we did make a revision to our procedures to clarify terms of office and to clarify the composition of the Instructional Materials Committee. So we currently have an opening for 2 community members to serve on the Instructional Materials Committee, and they will serve for the next 4 years. And we have a rotation. Every 2 years, there'll be a selection of 2 new members as to have their term completed, and then we'll have 2 that will begin the term. So this will be a selection of 2 community members to serve on the Instructional Materials Committee. And we have a random drawing. Switch around. There you go. There's 2. All right, there's one. All right, one is Candy Magana, and the second is Raven Cask. So Candy Magana and Raven Cask. We'll add those names to the composition later in the board meeting for the approval of the Instructional Materials Committee. And thank you to everyone who expressed interest. We appreciate the interest of our community members to serve on the Instructional Materials Committee. Thank you.
All right, so item number 6, we're going to table that for another meeting, and that will be rescheduled, the highly capable program presentation. And now we will move on to item 7, public comment of non-discussion agenda items. So at this point, if there are any questions, and I understand we are not doing anything online anymore. So if there are no questions or comments, I will move on to item number 8, approval of consent agenda.
Okay. No, this is you skipped over 7, public comment on non-discussion items. This is where we have the public comment period.
Yeah,
There weren't any.
Yeah, no one
I beg
signed
your
in.
pardon.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's good.
That's okay. All right, going back to.
I'm sorry.
All right, we'll go on to item 8 then, approval of consent agenda. So there are a number of items there, approval of minutes, vouchers and payroll, financial reports, employment contracts, resignations, retirement, separations, and leave requests. So we can do them all at once unless somebody has something in particular they would like to have further discussion on. If not, I will take a motion for approval of the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Thank you. Looks like we have multiple ones. The first one I heard, I think, was Mr. Mokel. So we have a motion. We'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Next on the agenda is action item to approval of travel requests. And we do have item number 4 added here, the travel request for, I believe, Nick Hartman.
Yes.
So again, any discussion items there? Again, we'll take the policy addition and revisions separately. So again, travel requests, anyone like to make a motion on those?
I move to approve this travel requests 1, 2, 4.
All right, we have a motion. We'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. All right, moving on to item 9B, approval of policy addition revisions, first readings, holidays. And Dr. Finch, you want to give a little background on this, please?
Sure. This is the addition of Juneteenth as a holiday. The legislature in the last legislative session did clarify that Juneteenth is both a state holiday and a school holiday. We know also it's a federal holiday as well. So this would add Juneteenth as a holiday to our calendar. This would not impact our teaching staff, but it does impact our classified staff who are year-round employees.
And just to make a point here for everyone on the board, I believe you said this was revenue neutral?
Well, yeah, there's no cost to the district. This is providing an additional holiday for the year-round staff. And we did we reached out to our districts in the region to see how they were addressing this. They were adding it as a holiday. And so that's the recommendation of the administration to add Juneteenth as a holiday.
Okay, anybody? Or anyone care to make a motion?
I'll move that we approve the policy edition 5410 of adding Juneteenth as a holiday to our calendar year.
All right, thank you, Mr. Meyer. We'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item C, approval of resolutions. Looks like there is one, right? The unclaimed property resolution 2209-749, cancellation of outstanding warrants.
Yes, that's correct.
Anyone? Any discussion? Any comments, questions?
I move resolution 2209-749.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jager. We'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item D on 9D, approval of instructional materials committee.
So I've included a memo that has the list of members for the Instructional Materials Committee. So we'd like to add to that list Candy Magana and Raven Cask, and recommend approval of the Instructional Materials Committee for the 22-23 school year.
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. We have a motion. We'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion, pose same sign. All right, motion carries 5-0. Item E, approval of WVVA, I believe that's the Virtual Academy and ASU online program curriculum courses. Again, any questions, any discussion? Anyone care to make a motion?
I'll move that we approve the WVVA and Arizona State University online program, curriculum and courses.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. We have a motion. We'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 5-0. Item 10, item arising. Anyone? Hearing none, we'll move on to reports. Item 11 on the agenda, administrative reports, enrollment report, safety report, travel log report, and high school ASB report. Dr. Finch, anything?
No, just that to note that there was a question at the last board meeting about enrollment, so we do have that included in the enrollment report.
I did see that. Okay, and also, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
What, can you say how are we doing?
Yeah, we were slightly above what we had projected, so that's a good place to be. Much better to be slightly above than below.
All right, and there were also, I believe, in there a number of school improvement plans. Is that what those were?
Right, that was as we start the school year, we had the administrative reports from each of the schools.
Okay, thank you. All right, no more discussion there. If there aren't any, superintendent's report, item 12.
Just the superintendent's report was a follow-up on the various questions we had at the last board meeting. We anticipated that we would be able to bring the cellular contract to you for Summit View and Apple Valley, but we're still waiting on the finalize of that contract. So hopefully have that at either the next board meeting or the one after that.
All right, thank you.
I have a question on that. And Mr. Meyer, thank you for bringing that up. The safety issue is paramount, and that's why we want to have the cell phones, each individual teacher's cell phone work throughout the building. At the middle school, and I checked on this, it's still the same. Middle school, there are certain spots where, and one of them was the vice principal's office, where you got no cell phone. So I think you need to not just do Apple Valley and some of you, but do a check of all the schools and figure out which ones need it, so all of them have the same safety factors going.
Yeah, at this point, I believe we would need to put that on our capital projects list on the priority list, because the cost for the assessment is about a little over $1,000 per site, except for the high school, which is a larger site. So it's about double the cost, about $2,000 to assess that. And then to increase service, it's about $150,000 per site. The high school building, again, would probably be about double that, about $300,000. And so if you look at across the district, it'd be at this point cost prohibitive to move forward with that, but we should put that on the list. We do have a list that we're developing to have as part of our information for the public forum or community forum that we have next week. And so we'll make sure that that's on the list, both the assessment and if we were needing to move forward with any type of changes.
All right, anyone else? All right, move on to, was it the superintendent's report?
Yep, that's
That's
completed.
you? All
Yep.
right. Item 13, board reports, board development.
I'd just like to thank Peter for the article that came out to everybody who has a post office box or mailbox, telling about the community input meetings that are going to be next Tuesday and then at the end of the month.
Right.
Very well done, very succinct, and thank you for doing that. This it's hard to get to everybody in the district. And that's one of my complaints is we have a webpage. Well, I don't know how to get on your webpage. And there are a lot of people who don't know how to do that. They can read this, and this is very well done, and thank you.
Well, give appropriate shout out to Amy Forrest for her work to help make that happen. And a really nice quote from Mark Strong, our president, inviting the community to come to the community forum. And we know it got out there because we received some emails already from people who read it on the flyer. So that was a nice job to get that out ahead of time so that people can have advance notice of the community forum. So appreciate everything that went behind getting that into mailboxes in a timely manner, and appreciate that nice quote from Mark Strong.
Thank you, Dr. Finch. All right, we will move on to executive session. So performance of a public employee. Dr. Finch, can you give us a time?
About
estimate?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. All right, it is 7:16.
No action taken?
Yes.
There'll be no action taken
no action
afterwards.
taken. So we'll be back at 7:31. Okay, we are extending our executive session here by 10 minutes, so hopefully we'll be out at 7:41.
Oh, we need to sign some.
Yeah. All right. We are going to resume and adjourn, I guess, all in one step here. So our executive session is over, 7:37, and we will adjourn at also 7:37. Thank you, everybody, for attending tonight's meeting.